So right now we're having an issue in the 240SX. I can't lock up the rear tires with a factory handbrake, which I did tighten to see if I could get it to lock up the tires. I tightened it, yanked that thing pretty hard, and it's not locking up the rear tires. So the hydraulic handbrake still won't lock up the rear tires either. And it should be able to do it. And so this is what it looks like when I'm driving along, put all the way on the clutch, yank the e-brake as hard as I possibly can. This is what it looks like when I'm doing it on the road from the outside. I bled an entire bottle of brake fluid through the system and it still can't lock up the tires. So I decided that I probably just needed new brake pads, so today we're going to be throwing in some brake pads. And I got these like a year ago because I was like, oh, I'm going to do brake pads, it'll be nice, I'll be able to go drifting, yank the e-brake, and like they've been sitting here for like a year. They're in here somewhere. And maybe they're not in here. Alright, so these are just like cheap AutoZone Advanced Auto parts. These are like the cheapest brake pads you can buy. Maybe Pep Boys, I don't know. They're like $15, I think. Obviously these are just for the back. We'll go ahead and throw these things in, see how it works. If we really need to, we might get some nicer brake pads, but I think these should do the trick. So back like almost a year ago now when I got my coilovers and I got adjustable rear upper control arms, I never had my car aligned. I kind of just like eyeballed it, got it as close to like 0 as I could, and I just left it like that. And then like a week or two before I went drifting that last time, I like went in and I really eyeballed the alignment like really well, like a really good eyeball alignment, and like the right rear, that was like perfect. The tire wore so evenly, but the rear left tire, it was another story. When I was looking at the edge, I was like, wow, I'm not burning through any tire. That's because this tire's kind of like dry rotted, so this huge chunk is gone. But, like, definitely didn't have a very good camber alignment on this side. Like, if you just look at this, like, you can see the cords in the tire on this side, and it's like there's a huge like just gap, like this huge like piece of rubber missing right there, and it's just like not very nice looking. There's another like one right. It's just like it definitely had too much negative camber on this side. And it wasn't that bad. Like in some parts, like right here, like it's not missing this huge part on the side, but like definitely wish I had gotten this aligned or at least gotten something so I could have gotten it closer to 0, because I mean this tire could have lasted longer, but obviously it didn't now because this side is destroyed even though this side is like fine, which is nice. But yeah, look at those nice cords right there. We'll definitely have to blow it up at some point though. So like a year ago, I tried to replace the brake pads in the car, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I just put everything away, put it back, all the stock stuff, and I just put it back, and I haven't thought about it. And today I was like, all right, the handbrake doesn't work. Obviously I need to change the brake pads. I just thought maybe I was stupid then. I couldn't figure out what I had to do then. I can probably figure it out now. And I realized why I couldn't do it then is because there's supposed to be like a metal like retaining piece in here that like holds the brake pads in place. Like obviously they're held in place by the actual caliper, but like there's supposed to be something that actually like, that's not the right one, but like something's supposed to like hold it in here, like so it doesn't like touch the rotor. It like holds it like at the right spot, and obviously when you press the brake pedal it pushes in, but it like comes and it holds it in place. And obviously that's nowhere to be seen. Like it's supposed to be like a metal piece in here somewhere, and obviously it's not here, so it's very annoying. And the other side doesn't have it either, which is really annoying. So it makes sense why the brakes, or I couldn't replace the brake pads, maybe why they don't work, I don't know. So these are the pieces of metal. We're gonna stick them into here somehow, and they will hold our brake pads in. So these things just go in like this. We got one on the bottom, one on the top, and then we can just slide our brake pads right in there. Okay, so as you can see, we got the new brake pads in there with these new little seat things. New brake pad. New brake pad situation. See. You're gonna show the viewers how the brake pad works. know, I saw.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Stall. And the stall.
Oh, turns out I put it in the 4th gear, sorry.
That's always good.
So to go along with the new racing seat we got in the car, I decided to get some harnesses and a harness bar. I actually just got one harness for the driver, of course. It's just a Defqwop 5-point harness. It's like the cheap one, but it's good. It won't break, hopefully. That's nice. And to go along with the harnesses, I picked up a harness bar here. This is an NRG harness bar. You may be wondering, George, why'd you get a blue harness bar and blue harnesses? That's gross. I know it's gross. Let me explain. I wanted blue harnesses. I bought blue harnesses. That was done. Then I was like, let me look for a harness bar. And the harness bars were like kind of expensive. I was a little bit So then I was looking, I was like, what's this? So this person was selling this harness bar. They had like bought it, opened the box, destroyed the box, and then decided they didn't want it anymore. And then this was $80 less than all of the other ones that were for sale. All the other ones were like black in colors that you might want to go with a blue harness. I didn't want the same color. I was like, I can pay $80 more and get the color I want. Let's not. So, to fix that issue, what we got here is some metallic gold spray paint. That can only end well. We're gonna go ahead and throw that at the harness bar. Hopefully it looks really nice. And then we have a great gold harness bar in the car. Yeah.
Let's creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
So this stuff is looking really good right now, except for the fact there's like a lot of pollen in the air. So a lot of that is sticking to this. It's not as visible here. This looks pretty nice. So it looks pretty nice, except for like on the edges, you can see a little bit of pollen might have gotten on it. I mean, most of the pieces look pretty good. And this stuff covered really nicely. And even like when I was painting it, it wouldn't even run. It instantly dries when it hits the metal, which is pretty cool. We're gonna let those dry. We're gonna go ahead and bust out a hole in the transmission tunnel to go ahead and mount the one of the harnesses on. I could easily mount the seat rail right there where there is where the factory seatbelt mounts, but the racetracks I go to, they want it mounted to the chassis, so we're gonna go ahead and bust a hole through there and we'll be good. So I'm gonna let the harness bar dry a little bit more before I put it in the car. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and do the parts of the harnesses that do not require the harness bar to be hooked up to. Now we're going to go ahead and mount the other one onto this bolt that holds in the other end of the seatbelt on this side. So we got the harness bar painted, and I went ahead and put the hardware back on the ends of it because I obviously didn't want to paint those, so I removed them. I mean, it looks really good. Like, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I mean, some spots I didn't get, like, in there, but that's fine. And there's a piece of plastic over this NRG logo, so I just pulled that off after I painted it, and it looks nice. And it looked perfect until I jammed this thing into here, and I just tore up the paint. That wasn't smart. On this side, I didn't tear up the paint as much, but it's just not painted there. So we're gonna go ahead and try and mount this thing in the car. So I got the harness bar in. You can see I struggle a little bit, scratched a little bit more paint off. That's really nice. We got our lost paint there. Lost a little more over here, and then, yeah, it looks good. I'm really happy with how it sits. It came with hardware to mount it up here, so I mounted this upright piece to it there, and the upright on the other side, but didn't come with any more hardware. It came with all these bolts, but no nuts. I mean, washers and bolts, which is nice, but I don't really have anywhere to thread them into. So I'm gonna have to get some hardened hardware. So right now I'm gonna take the harnesses, stick them to the back of the seat, the holes in there. I'm gonna wrap them around the harness bar. It's not hooked up down there yet, but I'm just gonna like hook it up here, see how it feels. I'm not gonna tighten it down because I know I'll probably mess something up on either of these sides. And when you're putting these bolts back in, if you're doing this, these are the bolts for the seatbelt. I would recommend throwing some Loctite on them so they don't fall out while you're driving down the road and you get in an accident and your seatbelt is not connected to the car.
Alright, there we go. We got the harness wrapped around the harness bar. Stick it up like that. And then we got it mounted through here. And this is at a very nice angle. It's supposed to be a similar angle to the back of the seat. That's why you don't mount it to the ground, so it's at a weird angle. Then you crash the car and you die more. So we don't want that. This is nice, wrapped there. And of course we'll do the other one at some point. And then we'll be able to strap ourselves in and do some nice race car driving with our hydraulic handbrake that is currently knocked over. So I went ahead and just bolted the downward braces right into the chassis down there. And it's just so like if I get into an accident, this thing doesn't just like swing down, because it's only mounted in one time there and once over here. And we don't want it to just like swing down when force is put upon it, like swing up and let me go forward, or swing down and the same thing will happen. So these things just brace it in place. So now we can go ahead and wrap our other harness around the harness bar. So we got the harnesses in, everything's bolted down, we got the harness bar in place, and it's not going anywhere. Like when you shake that, the entire car moves. That's nice. I have everything adjusted. I have as much slack pulled through here as I want, so that like these logos still stay on here, and then so I don't have to tighten it as much with these straps. So there's the least amount of slack over here. Gotta say, pretty sick looking. I'm not drifting. That wasn't, I pulled the handbrake. There's no one, fine.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat this bittersweet heat.